Morning and warm welcome, students. We have started with lesson number 4, environmental management, and we have completed half of the lesson. We'll be completing remaining part in today's lesson, and mostly in the next period we will start with the textual exercise. Okay, so let's begin for today's period. Now, throughout the lesson and throughout the education phase in school, we have been studying, and other than studying, we very much know that conserving the environment is wholly and solely our responsibility only, not the plants, not the animals, or anyone else. So, how is it a social responsibility? Now, we all know there is interrelationship between the human and the environment. We have studied this in ecosystem. Now, since the human has stepped on the earth, yes, after the formation of earth, humans have always proved to be superior as other animals, plants, yes, in all the characters such as intelligence, memory, imaginary ability, we can imagine way more better than the animals, the four-legged animals. We are intelligent, the way we work, the way we use our brains and take particular actions, react to things, memory, obviously, then the way we carry on with our work in a particular way, in a particular manner, etc. Okay, so we are all anyway superiors. Now, sole responsibility of humans is what? To balance, conserve, and improve the quality of nature. And how we can do that? We are the one who have been utilizing the natural resources, yes, without any interference of anyone, and also without even thinking wisely. Yes, we are just irrationally, illogically using the resources that are available around us. Same time, it is our responsibility we plant more trees. Yes, that will control the global warming. You know how the process of global warming takes place. Yes, keeping the surroundings clean, the soil, the mud around us. Then also conserving the animals. We have studied that how food web gets disturbed, thereby bringing imbalance in the ecosystem, in the nature. Okay, constant hunting, killing of particular species. Yes, this all should be stopped. How will you improve the quality of nature? You can try constantly using materials that can be recycled, reused again and again. You have studied or you might have seen sometime before plastics were totally banned of particular microns because they were one time use, and plastic take years and years to uh, decompose. Same way is thermocol. Thermocol is almost totally banned. Okay, so this is how little steps can be a milestone in in conserving the environment. Okay. Next, we have a big story of a small man. Now, this small man, students, is a very ordinary person from the tribal area of Assam. Assam, we all are aware, is a state in the northeast of our country, India. This forest man of India, he has been tagged as the forest man of India, Jadav Molai Payeng. He is a very intelligent and capable person who was born in a nomadic tribe of the state Assam. He was born in the year 1963, and since the age of 16 years, okay, 1 6, he has been working as the forest worker. He's been working in forest. Once what happened is, in the Brahmaputra river, we all are aware that Brahmaputra river is in the northeast, which originates from China, okay, and serves water to the northeastern part of our country. So there were floods in the Brahmaputra river, in which a good number of snakes died. Now they are not as intelligent as us that they could save themselves in time. So many snakes died with the flow of water and were washed off. This person, as a preventive measure, when he came to know, planted 20 bamboo plantlets. Okay, he planted 20 bamboo plantlets, and then in the year 1979, the local social forestry department, okay, the local, not at the state level, the local forestry department, which works socially for the betterment of the environment, protection, preservation of forest, began a social afforestation project. Now, afforestation project is planting more and more trees wherever it is possible, converting the barren lands into forest so that there is environmental balance. Okay, so and their project motive was to plant trees or to bring about afforestation on 200 hectares of land. Okay, now this Molai, he was one of the forest workers who were looking after that project, who wanted to be a part of that project, so he could contribute a little in the forest conservation. Now, this Molloy, the person, the forest man, he continued to plant the trees even after the completion of project. The forest social afforestation project was completed. 200 hectares of land was totally completed, filled with trees, and a forest was developed. But this person still, beyond that 200 hectares of land, kept on planting more and more trees. Always remember, students, there is no limit of bringing about afforestation. There is no restriction. It is just going to give us benefit in return and nothing else. Now, when he started to continuously planting more and more trees, this continuous work, okay, and at the same time he also took care of that trees. The barren area that you can see in the picture witness the forest cover over the 1,360 acres that you can see on the right hand side. Okay, so such huge area of barren land, he alone individually brought about afforestation. Today, the forest or the jungle you can see in the picture is in Kokilamuk of Jorhat district of Assam. Okay, now this forest that has been brought about is the hard work of only and only individual person, that is Molai, and this work took almost 30 years. He has been awarded with the prestigious Padma Shri award by the government of India, okay, for this work, which was not even his duty, for which he was not even being get paid, but he did it just to bring about environmental conservation, environmental balance, yes, which will surely benefit us, because when there is forest, the floods might weaken, the floods might be prevented, big incidents, big natural calamities can be avoided. Students, just remember that. Many people together came to destroy this forest, to stop his work, create hurdles. But this single person was very much determined, and he established a new forest, students. Not just a small garden or park, but a forest. He is truly an inspiration and motivation to all the young generation like you. Okay, so we have a small video. The link will be given to you, so you can watch the video, what he has to comment on his work. Clear? Okay. Okay, next we have environmental conservation and biodiversity. What do you understand by biodiversity? Bio means living, and diversity means the variety that we have in living organisms. We all know that are lakhs and lakhs of species, living species on the planet, and we are hardly aware of very few. So, let's see what it is all about. Now, most harmful effect of the environmental pollution that we are experiencing occurs on the living organisms. Yes, non-living has nothing to do. Now, have you ever seen anything such in your area? The animals have become extinct, or particular species is not seen now. Prior it was seen. It might have happened. You can ask about it to your parents. Now, many people say that the early morning birds that they used to see in their area are now nowhere seen. Then there are many people living around the forest areas. They keep on complaining the uh, bartering of wild animals into their areas because their forests have been cut down. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity is the richness of living organisms in nature due to presence of varieties of organism, ecosystem and genetic variations within a species. A particular species would also have different variety. Okay, not just one variety. So a presence of varieties of organisms you would be seeing around you, then variety of ecosystem. We have been studying land ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, marine ecosystem. Yes, so this all is the diversity. Now there are particular hotspots in our country where you will get to see a good variety of uh, species of different types of plants and animals. Okay, but again due to imbalance in the nature, we have been experiencing the deterioration of these species, or you can say the biodiversity is no more diverse. Now, this biodiversity occurs at three different levels: genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. Let's look at what is genetic diversity. Occurrence of diversity among the organism of the same species. Now, here very good example is human beings. Okay. Now, each human being we know is different from each other, but the species is same. We belong to Homo sapiens sapien, right? We all belong to Homo sapiens sapien, but there is variety, genetic variety among all the humans present. So this is genetic diversity. Possibility of wiping out the species arises if there is decrease in the diversity within the species whose members involved in sexual reproduction. So there's less possibility of this species wiping out. Next is species diversity. Now the word itself says the diversity would be in the species. Now here you can talk about plants, animals, microbes. A particular plant, okay. Now for example rose. In rose also you have different species. Yes or no? If you talk about cat family in the animals, so you have again there you have different species also. So that is species diversity. Innumerable species of organisms occur in the nature. That is called as species diversity. Third is ecosystem diversity. Now we have studied this land ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, marine ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem. Yes, so we have variety of ecosystem present in each region. Now this ecosystem is formed through the interaction between the plants, animals that are present, their habitat, and whatever changes takes place in the environment, in the surroundings. Now each ecosystem has its own characteristic: animals, plant, microbes, and the abiotic factor, the non-living factor. Okay, on terrestrial you have soil, air, whereas in the aquatic you have water. Yes or no? And there also you have variety of plants. On land also you have different variety of plants. They are not the same. And these ecosystems are also of again of two types: natural and artificial. So this is how biodiversity is at the three different levels. Very easy to remember. Just by looking at the name you can describe it in your own words. Sacred groves. Now, the word sacred means of religious importance. So, what are these? The forest conserved in the name of God and considered to be sacred is called as sacred grove. These are, in fact, sanctuaries conserved by the society and not by the government forest department. As it has been conserved in the name of God, it has special protection. These clusters of thick forest are present not only in the western Ghats of India but in the entire country. More than 13,000 sacred groves have been reported in India. Now, very simple. I'll just give you an example. Now, sorry, we have Jivdani Mata on the Jivdani Mata temple on the mountain. Okay, similar manner, there are places or there are forests where the people around the tribes are living around the forest believe that it is of some religious importance or some religious incident might have taken place, so it become of religious importance to that particular people living in and around the forest, and they start conserving that forest in the name of the god. They start protecting it, preserving it, and here there is no role of the government forest department. Whereas all around the in country or anywhere in the world, usually the forest, the national parks are under the government forest department. They take proper care of them, yes, but the sacred groves are conserved by a particular group of people of the society. Now, obviously, when it is of some religious importance or it is conserved in the name of God, it will be provided with special protection. And these thick forests, the sacred groves, are not only in the Western Ghats. Western Ghats means the western region of India, but it is present in the entire country. How many have been registered? More than 13,000 sacred groves have been till now reported in India. Now, this value of these sacred groves is immense. There might be repositories of rich medicinal plants, wild relatives of crops, many important species that would be of very much beneficial to humans. So, even for such reasons, that forest becomes sacred to the people. Yes, they give much more ecological and genetically significance, and then play a very important role in wildlife conservation too. These sacred grove students, they are treated so piously. They are then prohibited from cutting down, not even axed. Yes, only and only if the wood is required for the religious purposes, then only you can touch the tree or cut down the tree. Otherwise, no one is allowed to enter the forest or use it for individual benefits. So, this is how sacred groves concept is. Hope it is very much clear. This also, if asked, you can easily describe it in your own words. Many of you might be even aware of this in your villages, in your native place. You might have heard about it, or you might have also seen such sacred groves. Hotspots of biodiversity. A biodiversity hotspot is a biogeographic region with significant levels of biodiversity that is threatened by human habitation. You will see a good variety of species, innumerable species, but then these hotspots are threatened by human habitation. The area might be destroyed by humans for their development purposes. Excessive use of animals and plants for personal benefits might have been done. Okay, so this is how they are threatened. 34 highly sensitive biodiversity are being registered all over the world. Okay, sensitive, which need extra care, extra precaution, okay, from the interference of humans. Now, these areas, the sensitive biodiversity hotspots, they occupied 15.7% of the earth, of the land total. At present, if you go to see 86%, okay, percent wise, if you go to see 86% of these sensitive areas have been destroyed. Now, in rare case, there might be natural calamities that destroyed these areas, but otherwise, in most of the cases, it is human interference, human habitation that affects the sensitive areas or that destroys these areas. Presently, if you go to see, only 2.3% area of the earth total has been left over with sensitive spots. That means it is very obvious there is a great imbalance in the ecosystem, in the nature. And this person that you see on your screen now includes 1,50,000 plant species, which are only 50% of the world count. Okay, 1,50,000. Now, about India, 135 species of animals and 85 species are found in the jungles of eastern region. The eastern India you can see. So here you will be able to find 135 species of animals and 85 species of plants. Okay. Now about 1,500 endemic plant species are found in the Western Ghats. Endemic is they are restricted to that particular region only. They'll be found in that particular area only. You can see the Western Ghats. It is given in the map in the brown color. Okay, that is across Gujarat, Goa, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. These are the Western Ghats. Now, out of the total plant species that are present in the entire world, 50,000 are already endemic. They'll be found in that particular region only and not beyond that. I know it is very similar, pandemic and endemic. Pandemic is all over the world that we are experiencing, and endemic is contrast to that. Now, three endangered heritage places of the country. Now, these places are of very much ecological importance, but once again, they have been threatened because of human interference, they have been affected badly. The Western Ghat that is spread over the states of Gujarat, starting from there, Maharashtra, Goa, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala, it has been endangered due to the mining industry and the frequent search for natural gas. Here, the bombing is done, the forest, the natural resources have been badly affected. Yes, so this comes under the endangered places. It might be there a time where all these might get washed off, and which would have a very major effect on us as well as the environment. Habitats of Asiatic lion and the wild bison that are present in the Western Ghats students are under threat. They might even get extinct at one point. Next, you have Manas Sanctuary of the Assam, which is again under threat due to the dams and indiscriminate use of water. Here, majorly you will find tiger and rhino, which are under threat. You might have heard of one-horned rhino, yes, which is famous in Assam, the Kaziranga National Park. So once the forest is destroyed, the animals are also badly affected. Then these animals, in search of their homes, they barge into human habitats. Sundarbans Sanctuary, very common, which is famous for tigers. West Bengal tigers, yes. This tiger population and the overall local environment is seriously challenged by the dams, deforestation, excessive fishing, trenches dug for same, etc. People are constantly into developing and forgetting about the importance of environment. building up the dams. For that, you need to cut down the forest, which is very, very wrong, not at all essential. Excessive fishing. In limit, everything is okay, students, but anything that beyond the limit is harmful. And excessive fishing obviously will lead to extinction of that particular species, simultaneously harming the other species in and around in the water bodies. So we need to take proper care of the environment for ourselves, our benefits. We are using the natural resources, but at same time we are also welcoming threats, problems for ourselves only. So with this lesson, we just need to understand the importance of nature and the environment. A small part is remaining that we will continue in the next lesson lecture, and we shall begin with the textual exercise as well. Thank you so much. Stay home, stay safe, take care, study well. All the best. See you soon.